Hi everyone, it's me, and today let's watch the game Theorists. Let's go.
I don't need an umbrella, but you can use one if you need.
To be honest, I was freezing even before the snow started.
As long as you stick to your own path, it doesn't matter what Mother Nature throws at you.
All the same, I wouldn't mind stopping to light a fire.
Guess we can rest a bit.
Hey, Luke, can you do your thing?
Burn!
Much better.
I like it that much better.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the
Hello!
show that in terms of good jokes, has no good jokes. Today's episode is sponsored by Genshin Impact, which low-key ended up being one of the biggest video game releases of 2020. It's a free open-world action game available on PC, PlayStation 4 and 5, and mobile.
True, if it's open to so many platforms, it's good. And thus, from what I know, even though I don't play this game, I know that it is one of the best few games in the year 2020. So, awesome.
Basically everywhere you would want to play it. And unlike a static by-the-numbers adventure, Genshin Impact is set in a living, breathing, changing world with new content being added all the time. In fact, a new update just dropped not long ago which added characters like the fiery Yanfei and the cold-as-ice Eula. But what was perhaps
Yanfei Eula. I really like it that for this particular video, he actually pronounced it properly, which is quite rare. If it's not your native tongue.
most exciting about this update wasn't the new things that it added, but rather the old things that it brought back. Specifically, the return of everyone's favorite god of contracts, Zhongli. Now, I get it, with the name
Zhongli. It's not Zhongli. It's Zhongli. But, you know, good effort.
name like God of Contracts, you might think that this guy is some sort of glorified paper pusher. But nothing could be further from the truth. Not only is he a sharp dresser, an expert fighter, and a total shipper's dream, but as you'll come to see by the end of today's theory, I also believe Zhongli is bringing about an era of ruin to this game's world. It's my belief that he's set in motion a series of events that'll send society into a technological dark age. You heard that right. This guy, this supposed hero of the game,
I don't like seafood.
Mr. I don't like seafood himself, is setting up a catastrophe that the characters in the game are gonna have to struggle against in the near future. Or heck, maybe even in a later update. It's at this point that the game's developers wanted me to make sure that I say that while this is indeed a sponsored video, all the conclusions I'm about to share are mine and mine alone, and that this is pure hypothesis. Game hypothesis.
Okay, so it's not game theory. It is game hypothesis. Thanks for watching.
Based on in-game dialogue and real-world evidence. Now, in case you're new to the world of Genshin Impact, let me quickly bring you up to speed. The game is set in the world of Teyvat, which is divided into 7 regions. Each region is ruled by a local god or archon, corresponding to one of the game's 7 different elements: Geo, Hydro, Pyro, Electro, Cryo, Dendro, and Animo. By the way, those last 2 are Greek to you, well, that's because they literally are Greek. Animo means wind, and Dendro means tree.
Wind and 3.
Zhongli are
No, 3. It's not 3. 3.
main focus for today is the human form of the Geo God, responsible for protecting the second region of the game, Liyue. Now, Liyue is super important.
Did he just pronounce it as Li Wei? Li Yue. Li 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 Li.
It's the largest
Li Yue. Li Yue. Li Yue. Li Li Li. Li Yue.
business and commerce hub in this entire world. This place is more capitalist than Elon Musk shilling for Dogecoin, to
Oh, much coin. How much
the point
money?
where the closest thing that they have to a ruling government is a council of 7 influential merchants and business leaders. Liyue is practically synonymous with prosperity and wealth.
I really like it that he noticed that he pronounced it wrongly, so he just cut himself off. Yeah.
It's also home to the Golden House, the only place where the world's currency of Mora is minted. And not just minted, mind you, it's brought into existence by a literal god. And the man responsible is, you guessed it, Zhongli himself. You see, when he's not walking around complaining about seafood in his
Okay, Zhongli. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna slap myself for that. It's just a fictional game character, you know, don't think too much about it. It's just a game, it's a fictional world, it's a game, right? It's supposed to be fun.
In form, Zhongli takes the form of a dragon named Morax, the divine figure that oversees Liyue and is responsible for creating Mora, the
I really like it that he just noticed that he's made a mistake for the pronunciation and just cut himself off.
world's currency. Yes, the dragon god Morax creates Mora. He named the world's currency after himself. Talk about an egomaniac, am I right? Again, when you're an angry divine dragon, I guess you do you. Anyway, according to the in-game description, Mora is, quote, common currency, the one language that everybody speaks. And in the world of Teyvat, that does seem to be the case. All 7 regions use Mora as their money. Merchants everywhere around the world accept Mora in payment regardless of what region they're in. Okay, so why is any of this important? And why do I think that this all might be setting up an elaborate game of dominoes that ends in the inevitable collapse of the world of Teyvat? Well, here's the twist, friends. When the player first arrives in Liyue, we're told that Morax, after 6,000 years, has decided to retire. Not really, he actually decides to fake his own death so he can run around yucking it up in his human form. But whether real or not, the implication of his quote-unquote death are huge. Not only does it send everyone in Liyue into a panic over the fact that their guardian god is now supposedly dead, but it also
I really like the editor, the audio editor. He noticed that MatPat pronounced it wrongly, and then he just said Li Yue. He just cut it off. Respect to you, the audio editor for this video. Respect you.
throws the world's currency into chaos. Because remember, Morax is responsible for creating all of the Mora. Without him, there is no more, period. The supply has reached its upper limit. And this isn't just a case of me overthinking the game's events. Genshin Impact actually comments directly on it.
Zhongli, now that you don't have your gnosis, what's going to happen to all the Mora in Teyvat? Since Morax is dead, are they all just gonna disappear? Also, isn't the Golden House the only mint in the entire continent? Will it even continue to work?
The Mora present now will not vanish. But the Golden House will indeed have to cease operations for a lengthy period of time, since creating Mora requires the use of the Geo-Archon's power.
This is terrible! We're all about to run out of Mora! The world is coming to an end!
Mind you, this doesn't seem to be a reversible decision. When he retired, Zhongli decided to give up the source of his divinity, an item known as a gnosis. The gnosis is an item that allows Archon gods to draw power from the heavenly realm, essentially amplifying their powers. Now, this entire scene is kind of played for laughs. After all, it's become a running joke at this point that Zhongli is naive when it comes to business. Apparently, despite spending a lifetime literally creating Mora, he never got the memo that you actually need to carry it around to pay for stuff.
He said it was half price, not that we could leave without paying.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I must have forgotten to do that too.
And it's not until after retiring from life as the god Morax that he realizes that, you know, might have been a good idea to take advantage of that money-making ability and put some aside for himself for a rainy day.
It's a shame that I didn't think of it at the time.
What? What? You literally create this money. It's like in Chinese saying, right? 财神爷不来财. Why? Okay, no one in Chinese actually say that, but seriously, 财神爷 is the god of fortune, right? It's supposed to provide, you know what? Wealth.
Who knew that the god of contracts would have such bad money sense? But in this scene, Paimon, your
God
travel
contracts.
companion and emergency food source, is absolutely right. This is no laughing matter. Zhongli even acknowledges this.
Yes, this is indeed a major issue from a financial standpoint.
So what exactly are the financial implications for Teyvat now that its universal currency is no longer being minted? Well, what this one little joking dialogue opens up is a catastrophic end to all the advanced civilizations of the world. Oh yeah, this goes way further than just being an issue of dollars and cents. In the real world, if a government just stopped issuing new currency, the most immediate result would be deflation. You may be familiar with the word inflation. That's what happens when there's too much money or not enough goods to buy with that money, which results in rising prices. Deflation is, as you would expect, the opposite. It's the result of either there being a rising number of goods and or a decrease in the amount of money available, and it leads to prices falling as the limited amount of money out there in the market becomes more and more valuable. Woohoo! Lower costs are great, right? Nothing bad about that. not according to economists. Most economists agree that deflation is a bad thing because it discourages spending. Think about it. If you know that there's a limited supply of money and there's never going to be any more, you're going to hold on to every cent that you have, and you're going to be really picky about what you spend it on. Plus, if you know that prices are going to be lower in the future, that actually discourages you from spending your money today.
True.
That loaf of bread that costs $2 today might cost $1 next week. So logically, you could hold on to your money and wait to buy it. That results in everyone hoarding their money. And by everyone, I do mean everyone. Not just regular consumers, but also business owners who are discouraged from spending money to grow their businesses by hiring new employees, and investors who just sit on their money instead of lending it out or investing it in new business. As the money supply dries up, employers are forced to either reduce wages or lay people off, or a combination of both, which ultimately leads to the economy growing weaker, resulting in a self-perpetuating cycle that results in more deflation, which leads to more unemployment and even lower wages. One of the most famous examples of a deflationary economy is the Great Depression during the 1930s, which
The Great Depression of 1930.
suffered the most extreme forms of all the things we just talked about. Reduced trade, falling profits, lower wages, higher unemployment. It was not a pretty picture. So is that the fate that awaits the world of Teyvat now that there's no new Mora being printed? No, my friends, it is actually much worse. Because the truth is that Mora isn't actually like the real-world currencies that we're used to. And the differences make the situation that much more catastrophic. See, the things that come to mind when we
Make it more catastrophic.
usually think about money, US dollars, British pounds, Japanese yen, etc., are examples of what's known in economic terms as fiat currency. When you think about it, a dollar doesn't really have any intrinsic value. It's useful because you can use it to buy stuff, but say you were trapped in the middle of a desert with nobody to buy from,
It is just useless. We give it power because it is a currency that we can use. If it can't function as a currency, it pretty much isn't useful. Like, you can take money from thousands of years ago and like, let's change it. People stop using it as currency, so it has no value. Even though a few thousand years ago it's considered wealthy. Yeah. Currency.
all the money in the world wouldn't mean a thing to you. Fiat money
True. Literally all the money in the world doesn't mean the world doesn't mean a thing to you. If you can't use it as currency.
only usually comes about through government regulation. After all, I could just start making mat bucks, coins with my little face on them, and go to stores trying to buy things with my mat bucks, but nobody would want to take those coins no matter how much I insisted that they actually should be worth what I'm trying to buy. Historically, the only way to get people to accept fiat money is by forcing them, hence the need for a central government to issue the coin and collect taxes in that same currency. Suddenly the government has said these things have a certain value. But the truth about Mora is that it's not a fiat currency like dollars or euros, it's an actual commodity, like crude oil or steel or salt. Going back to the game's flavor text descriptions, a loading screen tip tells us that, quote, Mora is a catalyst of sorts, in that it's a medium for physical transformation. That is why so many things can only be accomplished through the use of Mora. In other words, Mora can actually be used to do things. For example, anytime you sit down
It is not just a normal fiat currency. It's actually useful.
at the alchemy crafting table, you want to combine your 3 firm arrowheads to create 1 sharp arrowhead? Well, that'll require 25 Mora. That's not a rental fee that you're paying for the use of the crafting table. You can use the crafting table at Obito's research post in Dragonspine long after he's abandoned it, but you'll still need to spend your Mora because the Mora is actually being consumed during the alchemical process. And when I say that Mora is used for all sorts of things in the world of Genshin Impact, I really mean it. Want to absorb the experience from a material like the Wanderer's Advice to raise your level? That's gonna require Mora. Want to take a weapon and refine it? Mora. Want to grind up your adventurer's pocket watch, tail feather, and bandana to enhance a crummy artifact? Can't be done without the use of Mora. There's something special about Mora that allows it to function as a catalyst, and apparently the only way to make it is with some sort of divine spark. In that sense, Mora isn't actually a fiat currency. It has inherent value that makes it become a unit of exchange. This is also something that we've seen happen in the real world. Throughout most of human history, people didn't have a big centralized government that could create their own money systems, so they instead relied on commodities. Back in ancient times, Egypt, along with many other civilizations around the Mediterranean, would use salt as the medium of exchange. In fact, the word salary literally comes from the fact that soldiers in the Roman army sometimes received their payment in salt. A soldier's monthly allowance of salt was called a salarium. Anyway,
Okay, salary, salt. The more you know.
The system was able to take off because in the desert, you lose a lot of salt through sweating, and thus everyone needed salt. And because everyone could make use of it, salt naturally became a universal medium of exchange. Even after governments sprang up and started printing currencies, commodities were still sometimes used as a standard of value. For instance, in the 16th and 17th century, European fur traders came to North America and started using beaver pelts as a standard of value. One new pair of shoes is going to cost you 12 pelts. This became essential for trading between Europeans and indigenous Americans because, let's face it, why would the North Americans care about some flimsy paper with a king's face on it? It meant nothing to them. Beaver pelts. Now that is what I'm talking about. Mora is the Teyvat equivalent of salt or beaver pelt. Lots of people require it for their profession. That's good news for the people of Liyue because it means that everyone in the world wants the Mora that comes out of the Golden House. But it
the audio editor,
also means that when Morax stops producing more and the Golden House shuts down, all that Mora
or even Li Yue. And it's the small things that really counts, especially the name.
is slowly being used up, bit by bit with every potion that's made, every weapon that gets enhanced. Mora is a finite resource. Eventually, all of those activities that require Mora are gonna grind to a halt. And that's the real problem with Morax deciding to retire and stop making new Mora. It's not just sending the world into a financial disaster, it's also sending the world into a technological disaster. No alchemy means no new scientific advancements or inventions. No ways to refine or enhance weaponry means the people of Teyvat are increasingly in peril in the face of the numerous monsters that litter the overworld. The quest line in Liyue makes a big deal about how Morax decided it was time for him to retire because the people no longer needed a god to protect them. There's this big dramatic team up where the player and all the leaders of Liyue band together to defend the city against a big giant ancient sea monster that Morax sealed away long ago. And they managed to win, which supposedly proves that they no longer need Morax. But the truth is that the biggest service Morax provided to Liyue, heck,
It's not a service, it's not a safety, it is the currency.
entire world wasn't all the times that he turned into a big powerful dragon and beat up the other powerful monsters. His real greatest service was something much more mundane, his namesake of Mora. Look, sitting in the Golden House all day cranking out new coins might not be the most glorious part of being a god, but it was the most vital service that Zhongli provided. The small hope we have is that Morax's retirement might not be permanent. Maybe he could be persuaded to get back his gnosis and start minting Mora again. But Morax tells us that the Golden House, quote, will indeed have to cease operations for a lengthy period of time. And given that he's 6,000 years old, a lengthy period of time to him might mean multiple generations or even multiple centuries. Until then, the world is stuck with a rapidly dwindling supply of its most important resource. Not only does that mean scientific progress slows, but eventually the world will run out of Mora until even the items that people have come to accept as basic necessity can't be crafted anymore. And that is how the world of Teyvat dies. Not with a bang, but with a whimper and empty wallets. But hey, that's just a
Zhongli.
theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. And one final thank you to Genshin Impact for sponsoring this episode. Since I know the Genshin team is going to be watching this one, feel free to use this plotline in a future update. Then we can do a follow-up theory on how the whole thing played out.
What do you mean?
And if you'd like to learn more about
I really like it, it's like, what do you mean,
Genshin Impact, or, you know, just play the game for yourself. Again, it is a free game that you can download right now. Link is just below this video. Seriously, there is no reason to not try out this free, awesome AAA quality game. And now is the perfect time to hop in because they're about to drop a new character, Eula, one that I'm personally very excited about because she uses ice-style cryo skills and solid defenses, which is totally my gameplay mix in these sorts of titles. Oh, and she also wields a giant claymore, making her that much cooler. So try out Genshin for the new character and stay with Genshin for the thrilling conclusion to the financial drama that I just brought to their attention. Again, link is right below this video, and I'll see you all next week.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you do like this video, please remember to watch more. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Thank you so much. I hope that you like this video. Oh, please remember to follow my channel as well. Thank you. I sincerely appreciate all of your support and encouragement for me. Thank you. But hey, that's just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Thank you. Thank Thank you so much for watching this video. If you do like this video, please remember to watch more of their videos from YouTube channel The Game Theorists. This video came out in year 2021, which is PC a few months ago. Thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm a huge fan!